And I'd like to do something first. Tomorrow, we've got Flash Fiction Forum, so drop on by. All right. We're going to leave that walking across the street figure. We now have Donna Presson. Donna Presson's interest in the arts began with dance in the 1980s. She attended San Jose City College. There she was mentored by Jimmyle Kester, head of the dance department. Eventually, Donna joined Jimmyle's modern dance company and Leda, where she played Sheena in the 1987 production of Taste of Blood. Years later, as a first-time mother, Donna discovered Interplay, a form of improvisation combining words and movement. Donna went on to earn a bachelor's degree in creative arts from San Jose State University in 1997. Donna credits Mighty Mike McGee for her current love of open mic. Every Thursday night, remember, prior to COVID, Cafe Friscatti was home to live lit writers open mic. Everyone was welcome. You could come in and read whatever you wanted. It could be a rant. It could be some kind of series of riddles, a little jig, tell a story. McGee and his ability to identify and appreciate everyone's uniqueness allowed Donna to test out new ideas. Donna, come on up, test some ideas.
Tyrannical, demanding, brutally honest. Stella Adler, the acting coach, once told her students, she said, you do not act with the word, you act with your soul. And you don't have that soul yet. That's why you all want to be actors. I don't blame you. That's why you all want to be actors, because your soul is not used up by life. Remove the art. Remove all but 6 people. Add a person who's angry and frustrated but being polite. Add phones unused. Remove the windows. Add a clipboard. Increase rule-based politeness and eliminate common sense. The AT&T store is not going to use up my soul. My soul loves backstory almost as much as the team member of AT&T doesn't like backstory. I go in the store and I've reduced my need to the size of a text. 3 key words, account. Landline. Add. A landline is a phone service that transmits signals over physical wire or cable rather than using radio waves like cell phones. He's been trained well. He doesn't say, oh, we have a great new thing, and therefore we're phasing out the landline. No, he doesn't say that. He looks at me with compassion. I want to say, I want a landline.
I want a landline. I don't want wireless. I don't want a wireless phone. I don't want it to be connected to my computer wirelessly. I don't want that. I don't want that. But I don't say that. He goes on about this wireless thing, and then I realize, oh, that means I need internet from AT&T. I don't want internet from AT&T. I don't want internet from AT&T. I do not want internet from AT&T. I don't want wireless. I don't want wireless. And then I realize this phone that I have the equipment for, it actually plugs into a wall, and I'm gesturing to him about the wall, and I'm thinking that a wall is solid, and I had this thing that I can put into something solid. I want the earth, because he mentions the tower, and the tower sits on the earth, and then the tower connects to the satellite, and I realize we're going to need telephone poles. And telephone poles are messy, and I don't really want telephone poles, but I don't want space junk either. Have you seen all the space junk from all the satellites? It's just orbiting. So I realized that the cables, they're under the ocean even. Somebody put the cables under the ocean. They go all the way to Europe. I want something under the ocean. He says it pings. He says it's on a battery. And the way he describes the battery in case of an emergency sounds like one of those big batteries that you can run a refrigerator off. And he says it pings the tower in a different way. And then in an emergency, everything will be okay. Now I'd like to read something else. This is still part of my performance. I'm going to be doing 4 things tonight. Wind phone. The wind phone is an unconnected telephone booth in prefecture in what prefecture, Japan, where visitors can hold one-way conversations with deceased loved ones. Hi, Mom. I'm killing it. Yeah, it's going really well. Yeah, it's fun. I don't think they're going to hurt me. I think everything's okay. All right, Mom. I love you. Talk to you later. The wind phone was open to the public after the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami killed over 15,000 people in the Tohoku region. Whiskey, wine, weed, winter, woman, witch, whale, wash, wonder, Washington. This piece is called Whatever Water Wants. Wait, when water went west, would we wander west? Would we wander west without water? Would we wait without water? What would wind wait without? Would wind wait without water, without waiting, without we wanting water? Would water want what water wants? Would willows weather without wind? Would we wait without water? Without water wanting what we wanted, without wanting water, wait, what would water want? Would water wait without? Would we wait without what water wanted? Would we wait? Would we? The next piece is called, it's based on something I came up with. The Butte County fires were in 2018, and those fires were also called the Camp Fire, and they burned the town of Paradise. Now, the town of Paradise is about 200, a little over, miles away from here. It's a 3-hour drive. But on November 8th, 2018, there was smoke in our skies. I was heading east on San Carlos Street, and I was pretty much in front of Original Joe's, which is over there on, there's cats in a piece and it has a picture of Original Joe's. But that's what I always remember. This woman heading toward me, wearing a mask. It was like one of those particle masks, and it was before COVID, and I'd never seen a woman wearing a mask. And I don't know if thoughts are bubbling up or if thoughts are landing. Wherever thoughts come from, the thought landed, what the hell are we going to do? At that time, they were denying climate change. Reasonable people could deny it and not be thought of as crazy. So I did a piece based on a Meisner exercise. Meisner was different than the method, and Stanislavski. Meisner believed that acting was a physical experience and not from memory as much. And the Meisner technique is one where two people keep repeating one thing. Now, I don't have a partner to do it with, and I didn't want one. But now I kind of want one, but Larry's not here. Larry was going to be my partner in my imagination, but Larry's not here. So anyway, the point is, this is whatever water wants. Wait, no, that's what I just did. This is what the hell are we going to do? But I'm going to move out of here because sometimes I like to move. Tonight, I don't want to sit. Instead, I feel like I do the key points or what the hell are we going to do? And I want to ask it, what the hell are we going to do? But I'm pacing, and I kind of want to pace while I ask, what the hell are we going to do? Oh, God. What the hell are we going to do? What the hell are we going to do? What the hell are we going to do? I want to move close, like an inch away, and say, what the hell are we going to do? I want to be an inch away. I want to grab some shoulders. I want to shake something. What the hell are we going to do? 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 Let's go. What the hell are we going to do? Ask me, what the hell are we going to do? 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 What the hell are we going to do?
What the hell are we going to do?
What the hell?
What the hell?
What the hell are we going to do?
What the hell are we going to do?
Everybody, what?
What?
What the hell are we going to do? What the hell? I want to get down on the floor. I want to be like Michael Jackson. I want to pound my fist, get my pelvis in it, and I want to say to the earth, what the hell are we going to do? That one went pretty well, Mom. Okay, they participated. It was really cool. Talk to you later. Okay. Last but not least, I've changed the name. On October 14th, I was heading to visit my mother at a memory care center in the Central Valley. I think I need to call Carl Jung. I think he might have some advice for me. This doesn't connect to anything. You know that, right? People are so used to talking on cell phones. Yeah. Okay. All right. Remember that. Oh, okay. So I have so much more than an inner critic. I mean, we've aged together. So I call my that entity Pat. It's they, them. And this is what Pat made me do, because Pat kept talking about different things that I didn't want to hear about. And by the way, one of the things you can do if you have your inner Pat or your inner critic saying something, this is from Google, getting control and distance, your inner critic often speaks with a particular tone and pace, perhaps fast, urgent, and harsh. By intentionally changing this, for example, by slowing down and lowering the pitch, you can disrupt the automatic pattern and create a sense of detachment from the critical voice. You know how you can say, mm, mm, mm. Maybe you're talking about enchiladas. Mm, mm, mm. But then you can kind of go, mm, 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 I think my daughter just got offline. Okay, they haven't left yet. Okay, so what happened basically was the three topics Pat had on her plate was climate change, the fact that I'm a narcissist, and that I'm delusional. So, so I basically sexed that up, and then I performed it at Friscatti. Thank God for Friscatti. You can do anything at Friscatti. This is Friscatti t-shirt. It went out of business. It was fabulous. Okay. It didn't go out of business. He retired. The owner retired. Okay. So this is the words to the performance piece I did. I wrote them down. It's not with the breathing, but just imagine if somebody asked you, do you want to pay for the bag? It's 10 cents. And you could say, yes. Very much like Sleepless in Seattle, right? Okay. So these were the words. Oh, yeah, I hear you. Ooh, yes, narcissistic. Oh, yes, absorbed. Ooh, ooh, right there, right there, right there, right there. Yes, yes, delusional. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, you're going to compare me. Oh my gosh, right there, right there, right there. Oh, compare me, compare me, compare me. Oh my gosh, right there. Compare, compare, compare right there. Oh, thank God. It's so hot down there. Oh, I'm failing life. Oh, bad karma, bad karma, bad karma. Oh, say it again. Say it again. Oh, yeah, yeah. I should be wise. Oh, yeah. I should be smart. My room is a mess. Nobody should trust me. I used my brain wrong. I used my brain wrong. I'm going to get dementia. Oh, oh my God, I can't spell. I can't spell. I can't spell. I can't spell. Climate change. Climate change. We're all going to die. We're all going to die. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. This is a test. This is a test. I'm not passing. I'm not passing. I'm gonna have to come again. I'm gonna have to come again, again and again. Everyone is moving to the next level but me. That's it.
Another round of applause for Donna. Gotta buy that phone. Our next guest tonight, Dane Cervine's recent books of poetry include 9-Volt Nirvana, Deep Travel, At Home in the Burning World, The World is God's Language, Earth is a Fickle Dancer, and The Gateless Gate, Polishing the Moon Sword. Dane's poems have won awards from Adrienne Rich, Tony Hoagland, the Atlanta Review, Cejura, and has been nominated for multiple pushcarts. His work appears in The Sun, The Hudson Review, Tri-Quarterly, Poetry Flash, Catamaran, Miramar, Rattle, Sycamore Review, Pedestal Magazine, among others. Dane lives in Santa Cruz, has come over the hill for us again. Visit his website at danecervine.typepad.com. Please welcome Dane to the mic.
All right, I like the green, so I'll do it once. It's great to be here with everybody. I consider the San Jose poetry community the sister city, one of them, from Santa Cruz. I am going to read from both of these books. It's not usual that I have two at the same time, but Deep Travel, At Home in the Burning World, which is an allusion to the climate change that chased my wife and I around Europe and on the way back, is a book of Japanese haibun. And this is what I call my normal poems, line poems, 9-Volt Nirvana. And this just came out this spring. So I thought I'd mix it up, read a little bit from both. Thank you for listening. Hey, Joe, move me. Oh, up. Thank you. So this book is a little different. People have heard of Japanese haibun. It is a ancient Japanese form that I've used in a contemporary modern manner. It's basically an inner and outer travel together. And the famous book, Narrow Road to the Interior, was one of the early Japanese examples of that. So I experimented with it when my wife and I decided to go on a pilgrimage. And we each have sort of a Buddhist type background, so to speak. But she really wanted to go on her own on a 2-week trek on the Camino Trail along the Portugal coast. And I had family commitments, so I decided to do my own little pilgrimage, so to speak, on my first cross-country train ride from Chicago on the California Zephyr to Oakland. And then we met up together at the end of each of our pilgrimages and journeyed all through Europe and Morocco and ended up in Italy, which was the odd site. I'm not going to read about it, but where climate change came full circle because my parents' property, after they had passed away near Yosemite, very quickly was gone because of the oak fire up there. And we were marooned in Europe just watching it happen. So it became very personal. But these are what you'll see. There are these little paragraphs of inner and outer journeys, and each of them ends with a haiku. And so that is the haibun form. So I'll just give you some little examples. And the book invites you to, each one stands alone, but the book invites you to journey with us as we move from country to country. So I'll start with this one. It's after a big Catholic wedding in the heart of MAGA country outside of Cincinnati, and I have some poems about that. But here I am on my way back to California. Meanwhile, carried west in my tiny Amtrak cell, I turn to the banished immortal, a life of Levi, for a glimpse into another traveler's life many centuries ago. He lamented his homelessness, yet chose to wander old China in search of, quote, a higher order of existence. The book says, but for now he was to roam as a miraculous figure of sorts, as people later fondly nicknamed him the banished immortal. This moniker, which he embraced readily, implied that he belonged to heaven, and he was here only because he had misbehaved up there. It became essential to his sense of identity. Watching the intimate landscapes of Indiana and Illinois, now the far west, drift past my train window, Levi's notion of the banished immortal strikes me as romantic but partial, as though his world was but a dim reflection of another paradise. I can't fault him for this. The affront I felt at the inescapable Trump Hotel moniker in Chicago, the way we seem bent on ruining this given paradise. Still watching the tiny towns of America's Great Plains meander by, I can't help but love the tattered lawn chairs and battered picnic tables edged toward the tracks, empty for the most part, though enough for hope that someone is enjoying the great show here, this all too mortal paradise. And then the haiku comes in. The train whistles and the wide plains echo. So that was a little glimpse of the California Zephyr part of the trek. I'm going to jump ahead to where we meet up at the end of her 2-week trek, and we land in Spain together at the end of her pilgrimage. And I say, it is my, we'll make sure I have the, yeah, it is my first full day in Santiago, while Linda has been trekking the Camino for over 2 weeks. We walk to Cathedral de Santiago de Compostela for a full Catholic Mass. Though we are informal Buddhists, the immense cathedral full of patrons, pilgrims, and tourists alike, in such moments, I am gullible as they come. Organ music swelling, mesmerized by the swing of an impossibly gargantuan incense brazier back and forth through the center of the church, toggled by priests pulling thick festooned ropes as fragrant smoke spews the air like a pagan dragon. I'd believe most anything in this moment, that we are worth saving, that anything can still happen on this smoking thurible of a planet. The sway of the brazier like a hypnotist watch. And I encourage you, if you haven't seen it, you can look it up on YouTube and you see this immense thurible spewing smoke going right through the middle of the cathedral. It's no matter how cynical you are, well, I don't know, but it can really get to. Let's see, we stayed in Porto for 2 weeks because we were trying to just not do a lot and wander around. And then you find things like this. This is one of my favorite spots in Porto. We spy a library museum with a unique exhibit. Long rows of rare books, old occult and scientific topics, interspersed with sound recording devices from another age. Wax cylinders, a phonoautograph, magnetic tapes. The text reads radiothesia, capturing, conducting, and comprehending invisible forces. I suddenly feel right at home in the eternal new age that springs each century in another geography before it wanes. Like a vast underground conspiracy or mycelial network surfacing here in Portugal, where the brochure announces that books are trees, libraries are forests, books are force fields. When closed, they harbor secrets. Once open, they operate as resonant fields. When and if we open them, we enter new worlds. We encounter enigmas, things that have remained hidden since time immemorial, that allow us to connect with hidden yet palpable dimensions of our daily existence. This wedding of written and oral traditions, we amble in dim light from one showcase to another, viewing, quote, archaic and archetypal objects that accompany us transgenerationally and transculturally. Antenna, pendulum, lightning rod, dowsing rod, radio, echo chamber, book, magnetic recording. We listen for the sounds of water, the ethers, the restless spirits. The exhibit giving, quote, rare access to obscure and hidden areas. The cathedrals can wait. The history museums with their generals and wars. Here on an obscure corner in Porto, I listen, eardrum reverberating with subtle waves, spine a tuning fork for the invisible. There is no curator, the door simply open. And to give you a sense of what I'm doing here, anything that's italicized is part of the Haibun notion that you can throw everything in the kitchen sink, news headlines, recipes, into your travelogue. And so I'm in dialogue with these things as I move around. Just so you know, after I got back, I pulled these and chiseled them down from a journal, contemplative journal I keep every day. And then I just sat quietly for about a minute and let the haiku come. So that's how it ends up coming in. Let's see, I want to move to Morocco. My wife is usually such a planner with spreadsheets, and she had it usually all lined up. She wanted to wing this one. So I was like, all right, let's go. And when we were in Spain, we had missed, there's an amazing guy named Fatou Abou, who's has a fusion Moroccan jazz band that plays in Santa Cruz at the Kumbwa. If you ever catch him, please do. But he was born in Morocco and built a house there, and he goes between both worlds and takes people there sometime. We missed his wonderful trek, but my wife called him up and said, "Can you like hook us up? Because we really wanted an inside experience of family and guides who knew the place." And he said, "Oh, sure, you stay at my house." Da, da. So God bless him. This, we had about 9 days in Morocco with people that he considered family. And this was just one of many experiences there. Oops, that's not the one. There's so many there. Oh, here we go. I am on the right page. So this is about the intergenerational experiences in Morocco. In Chefchaouen, have people look that up? Beautiful blue, all blue village on the hillside. Just gorgeous. In Chefchaouen, Muhammad pauses in front of yet another blue door, lining the curving streets like exits from a labyrinth, each a portal to a world I will never know. The doors are decorated with symmetrical patterns of black nails or bolts. In the old days, documented family births through the generations. Doors that held many generations, doors older than America as a country, Muhammad says. Suddenly, I feel blue vertigo as centuries whirl down the alley like wind. Though nowadays the designs, he says, are mainly decorative. Families grow and move to other villages, to Casablanca, or across the Mediterranean. Lives like wind, not a bolt, not a nail in an old door. The markets are full of eyes looking no further than here. And this was the tension of the place that Muhammad embodied for us. He came back from Casablanca and from being in Europe because he loved his hometown and it was his home. But he recognized that so many of the young people, he said, the cell phone changed everything. Even the old ladies, they all got their cell phones. But they make judicious choices about, for instance, leaving, another poem in here is about leaving their washing machines, in their house because it's such a lonely endeavor. And so they still meet to wash their clothes and scrub the rugs. And my wife got to join in and participate in that old thing. So that just gives you kind of a flavor of how we began kind of moving through. But every once in a while, I'll read you another one. I'll have these weird conversations, surreal conversations with some of the writers that accompanied me. I had their books in my backpack, and Lorca was one of them. 2 more days in Sevilla before we transit to Barcelona. Our courtyard is alive with birds and children, the rhythmic presence of cathedral bells, the staccato drill and saw of workmen in the plaza. We've been traveling Portugal, Morocco, and Spain for 5 weeks now, and I am still keeping company with Andalusian writers like Federico Garcia Lorca, as good a travel guide as I'll find. This morning, we have a conversation. He says, every step we take on earth brings us to a new world, every foot supported on a floating bridge. And I know that there is no straight road in this world, only a giant labyrinth of intersecting crossroads. And steadily our feet keep walking and creating like enormous fans these roads in embryo. O garden of white theories, garden of all I am not, all I could and should have been. There's no straight road in this world, I repeat back to him, and he seems surprised. You never know with tourists, he says. They prefer the most direct route, especially ones that fancy themselves pilgrims. I tell them my plans for the day. Walking and creating like enormous fans these roads in embryo. Plagiarism, he says, is the best way to honor a poet. He smiles, if you can call it a smile, then dissolves into my book, well, his book, and gets comfortable in the bottom of my black backpack. It could be an interesting day. Spain, poets everywhere, like leaves rustling. One of the books I highly recommend by, get her name right, Rosa Menachal, is about the Andalusian culture that permeated Northern Africa and Southern Europe she may exaggerate a bit, but I don't care, a golden age when all the three major religions found about 400 years of coexisting. And that's why when you travel through Southern Europe, you'll see a lot of Muslim language and culture everywhere. So it's a marvelous book. I'm going to read one more from here, then a couple from the next one. But we come back on a New England bike trip, which is in here too. My first time in that gorgeous land. But coming back into the US through the border was somehow kind of a iconic experience. We are driven to the Montreal airport by a broad smiling man from Haiti who came to America with family before settling in Quebec, his Haitian French helping to navigate this new land. At the airport, Linda and I are struck by how friendly the Canadian airport staff are. Faces mostly Black, accents mostly French, as though understanding the essential fragility of journeys. As we pass to US customs, the American staff are deadpan serious, some fundamental paranoia perhaps of boundaries of what can happen. Linda is randomly tagged for a full backpack search of her belongings, a red stamp put on her boarding pass after, for unknown reasons, causing new moments of delay. A little old lady terrorist alert, we laugh after. At yet another checkpoint, Linda makes the mistake of answering yes about having anything to declare. An orange, prompting a long wait for a supervisor to finally come and ask her about the orange, and that yes, we'll have to leave it behind. The orange, a language undeclared. So that gives you a little flavor of this journey. It's inspired me as recently we made a spontaneous trip back to, at the invitation of friends, to visit Auschwitz, my first time, and spent time in Prague and Berlin. And so there's another travel one brewing in me kind of from that time. Both of them about getting outside of America in order to experience ourselves outside and looking back and seeing what emerges. So anyway, that's a bit about this book. 9-Volt Nirvana is, I have a longstanding Zen and Buddhist background, and this is not a spiritual book. It's kind of wry and ironic and looks at the dark and the light of things. Although there is from many years ago, there's a series in here about our group trip to India. As you can tell, my kids grew up and I retired, so we got to go do stuff I had never done before. So there's a little bit of that there. But the one I thought I'd open with is about my kids, and they gave me permission. This poem is going to come out in September next month in the Sun magazine, so you can look for it there if you like it. It's called Mad to Live. Mad to Live is inked between the shoulder blades on my daughter's back. My son's hands etched with a heart above one thumb and a question mark over the other. When my children began to tattoo skin, even modest images scared me. I winced at each new embellishment, wishing them innocence, not scars. I remember sitting in Uncle Bob's lap in that tiny Long Beach apartment, examining the Navy tattoos he was so ashamed of. What did a young man know, he'd say, from the safety of his recliner after the war? Cavalier dark blue images on wrinkled skin, still battling ghosts, remembering friends, swallowed by a sea more immense than a boy can imagine. But the people of the first light who lived here first tattooed their bodies with geometric patterns, totemic animal symbols, skin and hair shining with bare fat to protect from sun, wind, insects, to shine. Nigerian tribes use ichi tattoos to show one has lived a long life regardless of age, becoming a living ancestor who can reincarnate parts of themselves while still alive, illustrating one's true face. I'd wanted to protect my children from the need for protection, a parent's misguided love. Now, my daughter has a full color sleeve of a woman's face emerging from her grandparents' home in the forest they called Shangri-La, adorned with deer horns from her naming ceremony when she was 4. And my son now has an immense moth on his chest with monarch butterfly wings perched on his grandfather's hexagon home. His left forearm inscribed with, "We'll be living in all the oceans now," while on the back of his neck is a shadowed entrance to a spiral staircase rising to the word blank, destiny wide open. To cut ichi, Abani says, is to be reborn in light because it is impossible to disguise yourself. To see one's children etched in skin and light and ink, I stare every chance I get. That's a little bit about them. Not about them, but in this book, what it's referring to is my parents had about 19 acres of land up near Yosemite. It's all burnt now, except for my dad called it the village of Shangri-La, and he built these little hexagons, like a little Japanese village. But my mom came into her own and all by herself built a glass hexagon that can seat 5 people, and made of iron posts and little crystals. And it is still standing. It's the only thing left on the hill, like a beacon, looking out over the burnt forest. So it's very meaningful to our family. And my kids each have a version of that on their tattoos on their body. Let's see, how about 2 more? So I'm a therapist by trade. I'm a meditator and a poet. So all 3 kind of come together. And I'm always interested in desire and constraint from both a therapeutic standpoint and a mythological standpoint. And I love finding humor in historical oddity. So this is called When the Spirit Moves. Desire is a bad joke told well. The story of American utopianism, for instance, where celibate shakers with scrubbed floors and faultless architecture began worship by sitting together on chocolate-colored benches, walls painted a rich, dark blue, singing a wordless tune. When the spirit moved, they'd begin to violently shake their heads, then dance, someone hopping about the floor on one leg, swooning, falling backwards, the fainting gift, a kind of possession, someone groaning, another trembling, everyone shaking without one whit of sex. When done, they'd smoke for a spell or explode in great fits of laughter before heading off to farm, shoe horses, craft herbal remedies, build furniture that they became famous for, several times a day, re-entering the house of worship, shaking again and again, because desire is a great fit of laughter and smoke, trembling and singing. It will not be curtailed despite every celibacy. Once, 2 flies were mating on the windowsill. 3 young Shaker women caught staring. Female elders bid them strip naked, whip themselves, then whip each other, dunking after in a cold brook, while of course 2 male elders supervised the scene with approval. I'm saying this only because I love history, which is desire, and its catalog of fetishes, the comedy of not wanting, the bad joke of it, where even a Shaker laughs after, blowing smoke rings toward heaven as a kind of prayer, secretly languid on a chocolate-colored bench next to a dark blue wall. All right, I'm going to end with this last section of the book is kind of, in its weird way, it's another section of this, only it's just regular poems. But it's when I sat in my back studio, I have a writing studio in the back and into the backyard, and we were watching my daughter's 2 dogs. We would house sit them, and my grandson, Wyatt, would kind of rumble and race through. And it was quite the scene for a writer, endless material. If you enjoy that kind of thing. It was perfect. So this poem is called Imperfect Theology. This backyard garden behind our blue house on Alta Avenue is ever a mix of weed and flower, some planted, some wild, with dog poop blithely left by Stella and Bandit along the stone-marked meditation path, which circles the gopher holes of the battered lawn. I scoop each gift with a small shovel, while the dogs tilt their heads, wonder where in the world I would take such fragrant treasure. Why not leave it where it lies to nibble later? The gophers hear only footsteps above. Like a small, haggard god, I ponder the ambivalent scene, so beautiful, so ragged, so imperfect. I am almost reminded of Eden. Perhaps we never left, simply grew wild in this garden of our own making. Hey, thank you very much. And just so you know, the books are back there for sale. If you feel so inclined, I'll be donating half of it to the WordWorks, and you'll see their bargain basement. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Don. And thank you, Joe and Works and Amy over there. And thank you all for coming tonight. Next month, please join us when we will have Veterans of Life right here celebrating their new anthology. All right. Safe home, everyone.
All right, tune in tomorrow. For those of you who are into flash fiction, look up flashfictionforum.com to participate in that one. Here you just arrive. There you got to go online and send them your work. Curated by Tanya Martin and Leda Kurth, and we'll see you right here tomorrow night. Go on to our Facebook page, also Work San Jose, all one word, and find the event there to sign up to come online, or just show up here in person on these very seats. We'll see you then. All right.
Yeah, this is really fun. Still do.